Hey guys, it's Ben here from the Strength Factory. Today we're going to talk about machines. Should you be using them? If so, why and how? When we're training to be a better human and a better mountain biker, there's loads of kit and there's loads of options in a modern gym. And that is a good thing, although it can be a bit confusing, especially when there's so many opinions sounding off online. One thing that people like to rant on about is the use of machines for your training, i.e. using a leg press maybe, or the cable machine, or a seated row, or anything like that. And they say, it's not functional because it's like supporting your body, you don't have to balance and blah, 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 blah. And you should only train on your feet with free weights in free space. And I'm here to tell you that despite the slightly clickbaity title, machines versus free weights, okay, that's nonsense, okay? The machines in your gym are simply tools, just like the dumbbell, the barbell, the kettlebell, the floor space, the pull-up bar. They are all tools, okay? And it's about having the right tool for the job. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. When a machine is the right tool, how to use it, how to get the most out of it, and actually how we shouldn't really worry too much about what people are saying online. Let's just start off by highlighting the main differences between using a machine and using bodyweight training and or free weight training. Well, the most obvious one is that the machine tends to lock you into a certain position and often supports part or all of your body weight or your posture. So what a machine is very good at doing is isolating specific body parts. Whereas when I'm doing an exercise standing on one leg, or maybe doing a pull-up in free space rather than using a lat pull-down machine, I've got a lot more coordination going on of different muscles and different body parts, takes more body awareness, and arguably is going to have a greater training effect for creating a well-rounded human, like an athletic human. That's not to say that the machine isn't valuable though, because there are times when we really want to zone in on a specific body part. Now, that could be we've identified a weakness as part of a training or assessment or post-injury, and we want to work that body part very specifically. You just can't beat a machine for doing that. Similarly, thinking about riding bikes, if we can use a machine to take some load off the legs while I'm working the upper body, then for some riders that could be a really good thing. Think of a pro rider who's riding their bike loads. Maybe we can do some upper body training off their feet, so it's not putting a big load in it. That could be a really positive thing for managing fatigue as they increase the volume of riding and intensity of riding, maybe building up to a race. As a coach, I can also use machines like the lat pull down to help coach somebody if they're struggling to get a certain position. A really common thing I see is if we move from chin-ups to pull-ups, if people start letting their shoulders come up by their ear. So as they come up, maybe they'll do something like this, where the shoulder is up here, and then they're really struggling to get the lats working. The lat pull down, we take the whole lower body out of the equation because it's all supported, and we can put a nice light weight on, and we can just focus on that smooth arcing motion that's going to allow them to then transfer that to the bar with great form. If you've been enjoying my content and it's helping you to be a better human and a better rider, then make sure you like and subscribe, okay? And while you're there, why don't you check out the description and check out my range of online programs. You won't regret it. When I think about the athletes I train, in particular motocross and mountain bike racers, those guys get injured like quite a lot, more than we'd all like. And that's where machines really come into their own. Broken your wrist or your collarbone, we still want to keep the legs strong. Well, you know what? We're going to get on the leg press, and we're going to get really strong legs. And remember, just because it's a machine doesn't mean you can't do single leg work. We can do double leg, we can do single leg. We can do different ranges of motion, we can do holds. There's still lots of options for variety to create a well-rounded and strong athlete. Similarly, you've got a lower leg injury, maybe you're in a boot or something like that. We can do seated upper body training, okay? And we can work the other leg on a machine like the leg press or even the leg curl or extension. Maybe a rider has got a sore lower back, and this is at all levels. If you've got a sore lower back, it can be quite hard to train legs. But again, we might be able to jump on the leg press, okay, and get some really useful work done. Because at the end of the day, when we're talking about training, What we're training is the adaptation, not the exercise. And I'll explain that. So if your sport is lifting weights like CrossFit or powerlifting or Olympic lifting, then the exercise is what we're trying to get better at. We're trying to get better at squatting because that's a sport, okay? For you, the sport is life, it's being a better human, but it's also mountain biking. So the adaptation I want, for instance, is stronger legs for mountain biking. It's not to be the best squatter. So if I can use the leg press to get stronger legs for mountain biking, then surely I've achieved the aim. You go into the gym on a Monday night, you wanted to do this. Horizontal rows, but all the bars are gone. Nightmare. Just use a seated row machine. It's fine. You're still going to get strong throughout full range of motion, and you've got the benefit of you having different grips available to you as well. And for a lot of people, you're going to find that you're going to feel it more, and it's going to be able to target that hard to reach mid back area more than when you're doing it just straight on a bar. The machine that I probably use most in the gym is a cable machine, and it occupies like a funny middle ground where it's not really a machine that's constricted because you tend to be on your feet and you can move, and also we've got the instability going on, but it's still a machine. And you know, you're going to see a lot of CrossFit type gyms and stuff that don't have these because they're like no machines, but for me it's really useful. Things like pal off press for core training, and we can also do things like wood chops. Okay, so really dynamic moves that you can't really do with anything else. Yes, you can do it with a medicine ball, but for me, the cable machine just works better. The interesting thing about the cable as well, compared to a dumbbell, is if we take a bicep curl, for instance, which I don't do many of, but you know, at the bottom here, if I've got a dumbbell, at this point here, as I lift the dumbbell here, the weight of the dumbbell is going down. And so I'm actually getting very little of the weight of the dumbbell acting on the arm. It's only here, when the weight of the dumbbell goes straight down, that I get the maximum tension and weight of the dumbbell, and then it decreases again. Because obviously the weight is always going down. Whereas with the cable, we're not constrained by gravity, like me on my bike. And we can do a bicep curl like this. And so right at the bottom there, I've got the full weight of the cable, and I have it through the entire range of the rep, okay? And that applies to lots of different exercises. It's just easy to show you that with the bicep curl. I hope I've made it clear then that the machines in the gym, they're neither good nor bad. There's no free weights versus machines. They're just tools, okay? And different people need different tools for different goals. Different people are at different levels of training, whether you're injured, whether you're fit and healthy, whether you're elite, whether you're overweight. All of those things come together to determine what the best tools are for the job. And at the end of the day, it's also about what you've got available. So if you don't have machines in your gym, don't sweat. You'll just do absolutely fine with what you've got. Similarly, if you go to like a maybe more old-fashioned gym where it's loads of machines and fewer free weights and less space, then as long as you work hard and train smart, you'll probably make great progress as well.